Call to order the Community Economic Development Committee meeting for Monday, December 11th. Roll call. Joe Devanzo.
Here.
Ron Russell.
Here.
Paul Garvin is absent. Dick Peterson.
Here.
John Paul is absent. Steve Bishop.
Here.
Craig Johnson's absent. Larry Wall.
Yep.
Jim Boothby.
Here.
And Mark
I guess there's another one.
You can do that. You can go over there.
I know, but I don't think there is a big chair over
The one right there.
There
is
is
the
two
gym.
right there. If you want.
there. Oh, is it higher than this one?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, yeah, that's just one of the regular ones. There you go.
Item 2, approve minutes of the November 2023 meeting.
Make a motion to approve the minutes?
Second.
The only thing I did notice, and I think it's wrong, is the schedule of the next meeting is January 8th. I think that was meant to be December 11th, 2023. Because I think it's again here, January 8th, for the next meeting,
Yeah.
so.
Yes, was he,
Make that correction to December 11th.
Who's in favor of approving the minutes as amended? Opposed? Motion passes. Item 3, recommendations. The first one is Frost Fest by the villages. Emily?
I've never done it before, so I don't really know.
That's okay.
You want me to sum it up, or?
please.
Sure. Okay. The goal is for it to be similar to what it was before, not a huge thing, but something for the kids to do during February break. A lot of little things sprinkled around the area, just basic snow play. I want to do a few different little competitions, like can you hold the snowball on a spoon across this distance? Little things like that. Booster Club agreed to do concessions, so that was really exciting because PTO that's not our thing anymore.
I see.
So we would like to see if the magician would like to do a walking show around the area. Thought that would be fun. And I'd like to add maybe a pickup hockey at the end. Last year there was almost a group that got together for that. Thought that would be nice. For crossing the well, first I wrote 300. I doubt it'll be 300 people, but I would like to go on the higher end just for caution.
Yep.
We will be using across the street as well, so I'm gonna have a volunteer helping with crossing and traffic and whatnot, especially because there will be a tournament going on at the same time. And I did talk with Matt about that, and he didn't have any concerns and thought maybe we can help each other on, so.
Okay.
I think that sums it up. And I think that there's one porta potty that's supposed to still be there. That was more of a question.
Question I have for you, did you talk to Matt, the YMCA, about being able to access the warming hut?
Yes, yeah,
Because that will have a
That's
restroom in it.
yeah, and I totally forgot about that.
That'd save any kind of cost or
Yeah,
might
Then
be
I
more
think-
comfortable.
yes, very, very true.
Right, when the chamber did that, they didn't have any porta potties, so they used the warming.
Any questions from the committee for Emily?
I think it's a great idea.
Entertain a motion?
Motion to approve. Motion, yes.
Got a motion? Second? All in favor? Opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you.
Item B under 3 is 20 Central LLC easement request, and I'm gonna go to the other side as the applicant. And Steve's gonna take over.
Please do. Well done, Mark, Michelle. All right, Mr. Peterson, please be.
Thank you.
So I'm looking for a recommendation to either cross or get access across a piece of land owned by the town to the lot I have on 20 Central Street in order to create a food truck court back there.
Anybody have any questions on the maps? Has everybody looked at those?
Mark, why don't you explain, you had a survey done and you found out that the land was not quite.
Yep, I did a survey,
So
and
the
I,
folks here would understand that a little bit better.
yep, I had done a survey after I purchased the property and found out what I believed to be mine, which would have been, if you take the northerly line coming from Central Street, I thought it went all the way across, but I found out that the town owns a 30 by 80 approximate segment there. I'd like to get the piece because it would allow me to do something on the north side of the barn with a permanent structure, because right now I can't even do anything because of the setbacks. And the other thing I did want the committee to know is, you know, when the, assuming we can get the VPI through, I would be receptive to reciprocating that easement in order to get the sidewalk in.
Yes. So right now, all you would be looking for would just be a temporary easement to run this event?
At a minimum, yes, at a minimum an easement. If the town was, if the council was receptive, I would be open to purchasing or whatever, that 30 by 80 section, but I at least need access.
That was my question.
I eventually would like it because it would really help with setbacks and everything, because otherwise I'm 10 feet off the, you know, I can't do anything off that north side of the barn, permanent.
How far is the barn from the line, Mark?
From the sideline,
Yeah.
I believe, Ron, it's about 10 feet, because I couldn't, no, 6 feet, because I couldn't even fit a shipping container. No, with the setbacks, so it's 16 feet off the line.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
What does it mean now or formerly, town of Bucksport?
That's just from Alan Gore, the surveyor,
Oh,
and he's just laying out who historically owned those lots.
so the town owns that big lot there.
It's the back end of the parking lot is what it is.
Oh, all right.
And what, the part I'm asking for is just, the only thing the town does with it is mow it.
Oh,
It's
so it
just
is,
grass.
it isn't paved.
It is not paved, it is just, it's below the first tier, between the first tier and the second tier, but there's no parking spots at the bottom, you know, on that
Yeah.
lower tier.
Is it firm ground there, or is it,
Reasonably firm.
yeah,
And I mean, if I could get it, I would engage engineers to take care of
yeah.
any additional water issues.
Have you
Because I've
talked,
had them.
sorry, I was looking at this, not watching you.
Is that where they did all that, excuse me,
Yeah, go ahead.
is that where they did all that digging?
They put some drainage in because I've had continual
Right.
problems there. And I've decided at this point, I'm just gonna take care of the rest of it.
Yeah.
Have you talked to the church next door?
Mike Donato was at the planning board meeting and gave us full support. And I've spoken with Lori Hunt, who's the chair of the trustees for the Congregational Church.
Perfect.
And I've not heard any objections from her either.
Excellent.
I talked to Dino as well, being on the north side, and
Yep.
he had no objections.
Nice.
You might even add about that 40-foot container that the church had no
No
problems
qualms
with
with.
at all.
Yep.
So there were, at the planning board, there was actually no issues at all that any of the folks around them brought
Yeah.
up. They all were, church was all in favor of it.
Yeah, and I think it's, the layout looks good, looking at the church's layout for parking and privacy, et cetera. Mark's proposed layout would do good to ensure that.
And that's why I wanted to do a shipping container. I need the storage, and it would give me a 10-foot fence essentially.
Right.
You know, between myself and the Baptist church, so they didn't walk out and stare at people eating lunch.
Right.
Where will the trucks go?
The trucks would go around the patio. My goal is, with an engineer, to put power around the outside of the patio and allow food trucks to be on the outside of that.
So are they, I'm not quite sure, are they in the parking lot?
No, if you look at the next map down,
Oh.
Ron, there's another.
The
first map.
Sorry. Oh, this makes more sense.
And that path is not to scale. It's off an old plan, but it's
Yeah.
approximate.
Yeah.
Just out of curiosity, the reason why this is coming before us is because we're looking to vote on the easement.
Yep, I mean, I've got to get, what the planning board wanted me to do was get approval from the council for either an easement to get access from the parking lot.
All right. Just some hard questions, I don't mean anything negative or like or dislike. So the concept of having a food truck doesn't come before us.
Nope, the planning board, there's nothing in the ordinances, so there was no reason to
And
stop it.
Let me read this section out of our packet. the conditional approval is contingent upon acquiring access across town land between the Congregational Church parking lot and 20 Central Street. The question before the committee is, does the Community and Economic Development Committee recommend to the town of Bucksport, the Bucksport Town Council, grant or convey access across town-owned land situated between the Congregational Church parking lot and 20 Central Street? That's our question.
Right. That's why I asked what I asked. So, thanks for repeating it, but that's fine. I just have what I have, my feelings about it, it wouldn't pertain to what we're here to discuss. We're only here to discuss the concept of a easement, and not the idea of a food truck and how that would fit into the certain area. So then, okay, so I understand, want to make sure.
Okay.
I don't want to ask any other questions on that.
You were looking
Porta
for me.
potties?
No, I ain't bringing it up. I've already done that at the planning board. You already know what I want.
He's on the board, you were there.
How many porta potties?
Probably 2 to 3, at least 2. It just depends on, you know,
Depend on.
if I'm busy, you know, there's gonna be more.
But, right, I was gonna say, that's a.
It would be a good problem to have.
That's right, that's an easy thing to say. Next time,
Yeah.
let's get more. We can
Yep.
kick it up a bit.
So it looks to me like, Mark, the barn would be in use?
Yeah, I would use the
Because it's a
barn.
pass-through?
And
almost,
you can
you
come
got-
both ways, but yeah, I do intend, there's a door on that west side of the barn, and I do intend to use the barn for covered space.
Okay.
You know, I'm not gonna throw a ton of money at it, I would probably just whitewash the inside, put
Yeah.
electricity to be safe, and it would be under 50 people to not exceed and need a sprinkler system.
Is that on some kind of foundation or slab or something?
It's on a slab, and I intend, the slab's a little broken up, but I've had a contractor look at it, and he feels he can level that out
Oh,
or a
okay.
new slab, so that would be the goal.
Nice.
Okay. Any other questions? No other input? Do we have a motion to move forward?
I move that we move forward with this proposal.
Second. All in favor? All opposed?
I'll abstain.
You will abstain. Okay, thank you. Get that for your minutes.
Yeah, he said don't even worry about them. So item 4 is discussion of items not on the agenda for the committee and the public. We can start with the public. Anyone? Anyone on the committee?
I will note that the Parade of Lights Festival went very well. That was amazing.
Well attended.
I was hoping John Paul was gonna be here, but if you could pass this along, just a comment that came to me.
Yeah.
It's something to think about for next year on the Main Street Bucksport end of thing. Main Street Bucksport is the one that headed up the ornament decorating, correct?
No.
Or
No,
was
that
it
was
the
Emily.
that was you, okay. Was it Main Street Bucksport did the Coco last year? That's what it was. I knew there was a
Yeah, we did
correlation.
Coco this year, too.
Yeah. So if in between there's an hour and a half gap in between the movie and the parade. And I guess a lot of people left town and then came back, supposedly. It was a comment that I got. So if we could maybe do the ornament decorating in between, it might create an event for there to be something to do in between the movie and the parade.
Try to extend it.
It was just a comment that I thought was something that I wanted to pass along to whoever was in charge of that. So, and the hot chocolate was great.
Well, I didn't make it. David Doan made, I can't believe how much he made.
Yeah.
But it was funny, you know, from one year, there were maybe 30, 40 people there last year, and there were in the hundreds this year. I mean, the initial crowd when the parade was over was like 5 abreast halfway up to Warren.
Yeah.
So it was pretty, Corey Ames gets credit for the decorating the gazebo. I was mostly running around getting stuff. It does come from my obsession collection. But anyway, it looked good.
It was
Yeah.
good. Everybody that had any part to do anything with any of it, it was all great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it went really
There's a
good.
big crowd in Bucksport too, holy.
Yeah, and it wasn't bitter cold.
No,
No,
it was nice.
we went into Simply Soul, and the girl that was working behind the counter said that they'd been busy since 5, that extra time that they were staying open. She said there was a lot of foot traffic, and it was worth it for them to be open. It was
Okay.
going really
Good.
good. So.
Yeah,
Good stuff to hear.
yeah, at 4 o'clock it didn't look real great. I mean, the fog was there and it was icy there for about an hour.
Yeah.
It was not good. But Mother Nature came around and
Good
warmed
job,
it up a
Dick.
little.
Rich saw it through. I asked him, I said, how did you make that decision to decide to keep it going? And he said he had a lot of phone calls, talked to a lot of people,
Yeah,
and
he
tried to
did.
figure it out. They did well.
Anyone else? If not, the next meeting, January 8th, does that work for everyone?
I believe that works for me.
Okay. Item 6, adjournment.
Motion to adjourn.
Okay.
I'll second.
Okay, all in favor?
All in favor?
Done.
Meeting adjourned.